Coming to you live from Fayetteville, Arkansas in the beautiful Appleby Business Center studios. It's time for Northwest Arkansas Business Radio with Adam Robison. Hello everyone, it's time for another episode of Northwest Arkansas Business Radio, and we are so glad that you decided to join us today. My name is Adam Robison, the host of Northwest Arkansas Business Radio, and folks, I am so excited to bring you today a guest from Five Rings Financial. This is my friend April Hudgens. April, welcome to the Northwest Arkansas Business Radio studios. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and something about your background.
Well, like you said, I am April Hudgens with Five Rings Financial, and I have been in the industry for more than 20 years.
Wow.
Yes.
I bet you've seen a lot of things come and go in 20 years.
I've seen a lot of changes in 20 years. Some good, some not so good, but yes, I have seen a lot of changes.
All right. Well, we'll get into more of that in just a little bit there. How did you come up with the idea or the invitation from Five Rings? Tell us about how you got started and what your journey has looked like.
Well, I actually started 20 years ago. After a really bad divorce and working 60 hours a week in manufacturing, I decided I did not want to do that any longer. I had 2 young children. So what I did was I answered a newspaper ad and didn't realize until I was in the middle of the test I was going to be an insurance agent.
Oh, no. That's happened to me, too. I know exactly what you're talking about. You think you're going to get a job, but it's an insurance gig, right?
It's an insurance gig. And I actually went in feet first. Everybody thought I'd lost my mind because I told them that I had just took a contract that was 100% commission with no benefits, and I'm a single mom with 2 kids.
Wow.
And I've never looked back.
Really? Wow. So let's talk about those first few days. What were some things that surprised you about insurance and really encouraged you to keep going?
Well, some of the surprising thing was the 100 calls a day that they expected, and there was no hours. So they didn't set hours. You set your own hours, and I got spoiled real fast.
Did you? I bet when there's freedom that comes with owning your own business and setting your own hours, and then there's discipline that comes in when you realize you've still got to make those 100 calls or so, right?
Oh yeah, that was the other deal, was learning to discipline myself, because all of a sudden I went from working 60 hours for somebody telling me everything, when to do, how to do it, how long to do it for, to here you have the full day to do whatever you want, but you have to get this done. And it's like that discipline. It took me a while, but I got it down. Yeah,
there's a certain allure to being your own boss. And then once you are your own boss and you realize that nobody's going to get any work done if you don't get any work done, it certainly changes the situation pretty quick, doesn't it?
Oh, they get hungry fast. It's like, I don't get something done, they ain't eating.
That's right. And that is a powerful motivator, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. Well, hey, can you walk us through the journey with your business from its inception and when you first joined to what it looks like today? Just kind of give us a look around Five Rings Financial.
Well, I actually started with Five Rings Financial in 2019. And it was a perfect complement to what I was already offering. So that was one of the reasons why I brought the Five Rings Financial in. And then I've slowly built a partnership to take over the stuff that I was offering, and I've just kind of niched out to where I just do the Five Rings Financial now.
I gotcha.
So it's kind of made it to where I've eliminated a lot of other things and just work on one thing as to working on multiple things.
Okay. And are you working by yourself, or do you have a team that you work with?
Currently building a team here in Northwest Arkansas. So
okay.
I have a team.
What's that team look like?
Well, there is, I have 2 agents here in Northwest Arkansas, so we're getting it introduced into Northwest Arkansas and teaching everybody what Five Ring Financial is about. And then in Oklahoma, I have about a dozen agents that are working there.
Okay. Wow. So your team's in pretty strong shape. You're looking to still build out your team here in Northwest Arkansas, I assume?
Absolutely. We are looking to build out here.
Okay. Well, folks, I asked that question just because I've met an individual or two on April's team, and they're all just incredibly friendly. You can just hang out and have a cup of coffee with these people and talk with them. just really, really good people. So I applaud you on the folks that you're attracting to your team, because their character, their integrity, and just they're fun people to be around.
That's what we look for, and we're looking for people who truly have like a service heart.
That's awesome. Awesome. So, are there specific products or services that set you guys apart from your competitors?
Yes, we have a couple of products and services that set us apart. One of them is living benefits.
Wow, let's talk about that.
Yes. So living benefits is a policy that would pay you if you had an incident in your life that you could have died from, but you survived.
Okay.
So it's a whole new deal to the industry, and it's a perfect complement in your benefits package.
Fantastic. Is there anything else you want to mention?
Well, on the living benefits side, it's a life insurance policy, which was one of the reasons why it attracted me to partner with Five Rings, was because I've seen so many people who only have the life insurance that they have at work. They have $25,000 or $50,000 in coverage,
right,
and they think it's plenty.
Mm-hmm.
And when you ask them why they don't buy more, their answer usually is, it costs me a lot of money, and what do I got to do to get it?
That's a good question, right? They're not going to be here to enjoy it.
They're not going to be here to enjoy it, but you're really doing your family an injustice by not having a proper amount of coverage.
I see.
So then my question usually follows up with is, what if this policy could save your life as to you only being able to die to use it? So if you got diagnosed with the three top ones, cancer, heart attack, or stroke, you could pull up to 75% off your life insurance policy.
Wow.
And that $300,000 or $500,000 could cost you about the same as what you're paying for it in regular death insurance.
That's incredible.
So why wouldn't you buy a higher amount and just kind of build that as, your supplement policy there too?
Sure. So oftentimes when sickness hits or arrives and we don't see it coming, there is a large sum of money that's needed for treatment, for therapies and whatnot. So what you're saying is these living benefits allow us to take up to 75% of the value of our death benefit so that we have access to those funds. And then there's still 25% of it left behind for final expenses and whatever else.
Well, if they pull the full 75% out, then the policy just goes.
Okay.
Yeah. But there are other things that'll trigger that policy too. So critical illness, critical accident will pull up to 75% out.
I see.
If they have a chronic illness where they can't perform 2 or more of their ADLs, they can get 2% of the face value for up to 4 years.
Wow.
So if they had $1 million in coverage, they'd be getting $20,000 a month.
My goodness.
For up to 4 years. And that's a huge amount of money, but you have to think that if you have to hire help because you can't walk or transfer yourself, you can't go to the bathroom, you can't feed yourself, you're hiring round-the-clock help.
Yeah.
It's a costly thing for families.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
you don't want to be the family who says, the only thing we can afford is whatever Medicaid gives.
Sure.
I mean, that's a hard hit for families. And, of course, the policy still has the 90% it would pay if it's a terminal illness. So if they're given 2 years or less, they'll give them 90% of the policy to do whatever they need to off of.
So what I'm hearing here is this isn't just insurance for after everything has come to pass and a family member has passed, but this is really insurance that can save your life and can make funds available when there would be no other. So
absolutely,
it says a lot for the value or for the values that your company stands on and how they're wanting to help. I know Tiffany, one of the members of your team, I heard her mention living benefits the other day too, and so I know it's something that your team is out and about talking about, trying to educate people on, and that's fantastic. So
yes, because most of them will tell you. I've heard several other people in the industry say all life insurance has living benefits, and it's like, no.
Yeah, right, because there's living benefits and then there's the 5-ring financial benefits.
There's
right?
the benefit. There is around 900 life insurance companies in the U.S.
Amazing.
And 12 offer true living benefits.
Is that right?
Others will offer, $5,000 or $10,000 if something like that happens, or they'll offer you whatever the cash value of your policy is. But there's only 12 that will take a percentage out of your actual death benefit and pay it to you.
I see.
And there's only one company that actually has 22 triggers that will hit it, and 2 of those triggers is Alzheimer's or dementia.
I see.
And they're the only company in the U.S. that will trigger for that.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible. As someone who, my mother is in second stage of dementia right now, and so any resource that we can get a hold of, we're absolutely grateful for. And so hats off to Five Rings Financial and those folks that make that happen. That's amazing. At the beginning of our talk, about 10 minutes ago, you said, hey, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've seen lots of changes. Why don't you just take us down that road of things that you've seen change, either for the better or for the not so better, over the last 20 years of selling insurance?
So over the last 20 years of selling insurance, I've stayed on the supplemental side. I've done some health insurance and stuff, but I like to farm that out to people who actually like to deal with that stuff.
Go ahead.
So supplemental is, over the last 20 years, the need of it has grown more and more and more because of the out-of-pocket that has grown on the health insurance side.
Okay.
You've got higher copays, higher deductibles, higher max out-of-pocket. And then, a few years ago when they did this everybody needs health insurance thing, and everybody's premiums went up, but so did their out-of-pocket.
Right.
Their out-of-pocket has went outrageous. There's a lot of people out there, their max out-of-pocket is like $20,000, $25,000, and they don't just have it sitting around.
Right.
So they truly have to find some way to supplement if they had that. Got hit by a bus.
Right. I mean, actually, you're right. I mean, when you look at the real cost of comprehensive health insurance, we're all paying more than we used to.
Oh, yes.
And I don't know about you, but I feel the pinch at my house, and so it's definitely one of those things that make me go, son, I don't know if we're better now or worse. And so, yeah, definitely an interesting.
I think the same thing at my house. Every month I have to pay that giant premium because my husband's 9 years older than me.
Oh. That geriatric.
Yes.
So if he's 9 years older than you, he's what, like 31?
Pretty
30?
much.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's high.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he has consistently had some kind of big incident or surgery for like the last 7 years. So we cannot look at making major changes on our health insurance. And there's a lot of people in the same situation that we're in, is you just have to bite the bullet and figure out how to pay this every month.
Right.
So it is interesting. But also with that, a lot of people don't understand when you get into something major, like cancer or heart attack or something, your biggest expense is getting back and forth to those doctor's appointments. People are all of a sudden like, I don't have gas money. We're having to get hotel rooms for overnight stay. Yeah. We've had to hire somebody to come in and take care of our pets or take care of this while we're gone. And both of us are off work. So that is where a lot of that living benefits money gets spent. It's just on everyday expenses outside of the health insurance.
Wow. That's something. So those are interesting changes that you've seen come about over this last several years. What about someone who's sitting out there right now saying, man, I want to be April Hudgens when I grow up. I want to work for myself. I want to sell insurance and help other people get their lives saved. What words of advice or tip or trick that you can pass on to those people right now?
The biggest thing that I tell everybody when they first start in this industry is you got to give it 3 years.
3 years.
Don't quit until you've literally given it everything you could for 3 years.
Wow. That's a long time.
It is a long time, and it's a process. And one of the things that I love absolutely the most about Five Rings is they will take on part-time people and let you decide when you're ready to go full-time.
Well, that's pretty good.
Most people in the industry is like, no, you got to quit us and just go full-time from the start, because that's how I did it.
Yeah.
But Five Rings is total opposite on that. They're like, no, we want you to keep your job. You can do this part-time, and when you're ready, you can go full-time.
Wow.
So you're the one who determines when you're ready to just do this full-time in your life.
Okay, so that would kind of minimize the sting or what some may call an implementation dip.
The financial scare
Yes,
is what it minimizes. Is you still have income coming in, and then you're making a little part-time income on the side.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So, do you guys offer training and mentoring? How do you prepare some new agent to be successful?
Oh, we offer one of the best training and leadership programs that I've ever seen.
Now, are you just saying that, or because I'm a leadership guy, right? Like that's my specialty, and
yes.
so I'm curious if you can just explain to me a little bit about the type, how you guys go about teaching leadership and what that looks like.
Oh, our leadership program is absolutely amazing, and being in the industry long term before this, when I first started, the guy who brought me on was like, you have to be at National Training Day in Denver, Colorado on this weekend. And I'm like, no. I have been to these things. They have never been real good experiences for me because they were always real cliquey and stuff. So I went kicking and screaming to Denver, Colorado, and then got brought into this huge room with about 600 people in it that was like, they're all hugging each other, congratulating each other. It was an atmosphere that I thought, where is the Kool-Aid bowl at, and why are they drinking it?
Okay, so my guess is that everybody survived the Kool-Aid adventure, right?
Everybody absolutely wants to help everybody else succeed.
Oh, wow.
And it doesn't matter if they're on your team or not, they're cheering for you.
Wow.
And the leadership is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
They have a training every Thursday night at 7 o'clock nationwide. And the leaders of the company are leading the training every week.
Wow.
And it's just amazing. They celebrate everybody's milestone. If you hit a milestone, you're going to be speaking at a training day in front of all your peers.
Oh, wow.
And it has been awesome to watch so many people grow in this business.
How neat is that when you're working right alongside those people that are leading you? I've always been an advocate for leadership on display and leadership by example, right?
Yes.
You got to show your people how much you're into this thing so that they can be into it just that much with you, right?
Oh, yes. And it's really unique because even the founding partners of Five Rings Financial, you have access to their calendar and you can call them and say, hey, will you come do this appointment with me? And they'll show up.
Wow.
You're not cut off from the founders just because you're down here as this little agent. Mm-hmm. And that is totally unique in the whole situation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, April, talk to us about the future. What does the future hold for Five Rings Financial? What does the future hold for your team? And I know we can't predict the future, but we have some vision and we have some direction in mind. Talk to us about where you would like to see your team head.
Well, we would like to see a big growth of team members here in Northwest Arkansas is what we would like to do, because the more people that are out here talking about this and getting the word spread, the more people we can help.
I see.
There is plenty of business for everybody out here, so let's get out here and really educate everybody on how they can protect their finances.
Oh, I love that. There's something that is very real and powerful about financial literacy. And I know that sounds like a silly statement, but coming from someone who, I lived in a house that had food stamps and we lived off of government commodities and whatnot. And so escaping poverty was all I ever thought the prize was. But then once I escaped poverty and now I'm living comfortably in the middle class, I don't know how to manage my money. I don't know what investments look like. I don't know how to make my money work for me. And I know I'm not alone when I say that. So am I the type of client that could be served well at Five Rings Financial?
Absolutely. Our focus is on educating middle Americans how money works.
Wow.
And we do that through a free education class called Money 101. Free. And then we also, on a monthly basis here in Northwest Arkansas, do what's called a Wine, Women, and Wealth, which is where we educate women about finances, because most people don't realize that 90% of the money will be ran by women at one point or another in their lifetime, mostly because women outlive live their spouses.
Right.
And most of them, the spouses handled all the money, and they don't know anything. We've had a couple of older women who didn't even know where the bank was, what the checks came from, because her husband never told her where they banked at.
Wow.
So
Wow.
there are lots out there, and we make women feel confident about making decisions with money.
Okay. Do you serve men as well? Or
Yes, we do.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure, because I know sometimes I get called ma'am at the drive-thru because I have a high speaking voice. And my family loves it. They all stop and wait. When I get called ma'am, everybody dies laughing. I asked if I would be a target client, and you're like, yeah, we help women. And so I just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page.
Yes, we do. The Money 101, we invite couples for.
Okay,
so
great.
that they're both on the same page. And Money 101 is just 5 or 6 simple concepts that we should have learned in high school and then again in college about money.
Okay.
And it's pretty basic, but the first time I watched it, I was kind of mad that nobody had ever taught me that. Mm-hmm. So it is, they're pretty good simples there.
So you and I are just connected by the fact that we both own our small business, and we're moving forward with that effort and choosing to go on our own adventure instead of chasing after someone else's adventure. So when you have someone else who is sitting at home right now, maybe they're in their car or on a bus or whatever, listening to this podcast, and they're thinking, you know what, I'm ready to go after my dream too. What kind of advice do you have for that person who's really making the decision as to whether or not they should just stay in their job, or if it's time to make the leap and really invest in themselves?
Oh, that's an awesome question there, because you have that dream that you want to be there. There's so many people, it's like, oh, I dream of the financial freedom, I dream of this. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you have to be willing to overcome that fear and take that leap of faith.
Right.
So, I mean, everybody should take that leap of faith. What's the worst case? You go back to working a job again?
Right. Tighten up the budget for a minute.
What's the worst case scenario? You have to go back to a job?
Right.
So, take that leap of faith. Give it a try.
All right.
It might fit perfect.
All right. There you heard it. April, Thank you so much for being so generous with your time today. I've enjoyed our conversation. How can people learn more about Five Rings Financial or follow you on the socials, all that good stuff?
So on Facebook, we are Wine Women and Wealth of NWA. It's just Wine Women and Wealth NWA on Facebook.
Okay.
You can check out the Donley team. And there's actually an app that anybody can download called the Donley Team app. And it gives you information about the team that I work for Five Rings Financial. Okay. You can check out some Money 101 clips on there. Check out some living benefits. There's lots of different things that you can check out on there.
Okay, great. Great. So just invite you all to follow April and Five Rings Financial. They're doing some wonderful things and bringing up the financial education and literacy in the process. And you've got to love that. That's noble. It helps all of us do better and be better when we can take this money that we earn and actually make it work for us. So on behalf of April Hudgens with Five Rings Financial, my name is Adam Robison, and this has been Northwest Arkansas Business Radio. We'll see you next time, everybody.